Hey guys, I hope y'all are having an absolutely great day. Right now, I want to take a second and talk about this Enigma Machine website that Call of Duty released as a teaser for Call of Duty World War II. So this Enigma Machine has a lot of different things that we're learning from it and about and whatnot so far. Right now, there's a little bit of information that we do know from it, and the information that we do know from it, if you look into it more than in-depth than just the face value of all the information, actually gives us a lot of clues, and we probably already know who the main villain is going to be. But that's jumping ahead of ourselves. I'm going to go through and break down everything that we do know so far. So starting off with the Enigma Machine itself, obviously it looks like it's a telegraph. You type in the codes and whatnot, and if you get the proper codes, the lights up top will light up green. Also, if you get the right codes, the letters will flip around and you can combine them and they spell out a message. So for the cipher that we currently know, and I already did this previously and you can't re-enter them to see it once you've done it after, but you put in the 3 words and it comes out to the message, "A new horror rises." If you want to see this actually happening, I recommend go watching Milo's or Mr. Raffle Waffle's videos when he talked about this yesterday. Another information that we get from the Enigma Machine itself is at the bottom on this metal plate, there's these numbers, and these numbers are actually coordinates to Dunkirk, France. Now, if you don't know what the Battle of Dunkirk was, basically the Germans, the Axis forces, were invading Dunkirk. They were winning the battle. They were controlling it. But out of nowhere, they were told to just stop. They halted their entire advancement, and hundreds of thousands of Allied troops were able to be rescued. And this was considered one of the very controversial decisions by the Germans and a really key turning point in the war as well. Now, once you input the correct cipher, what happens is you get this declassified folder. And right off the bat, there's a couple of things that you get. On the front of this folder, we have 4 signatures, which at this current point, I think the common belief is that these might be the names of the 4 main characters that we might be able to play as in Zombies mode. Also, on the front of this folder, if you look in the bottom left, you can see that there's another code that we don't know what to do with it yet, but there is another code there. If you're on PC, you have to zoom in 3 or 4 times for you to be able to see it. But if you're on mobile, I'm told that it comes up completely fine. And you don't have to do any zooming at all. Now, opening this folder is where, personally, I have spent hours now researching this, and it is very, very interesting to think about what this could mean towards the Zombies game mode itself. Now, I have a lot of information here, but I'll give you guys a very rough TLDR about everything. So inside the folder, we have 2 images. On the left, we have Holy Roman Emperor Frederick Barbarossa I, and then on the right, we have an image of Portrait of a Young Man by Raphael. Now, we're going to focus on the Portrait of a Young Man first. This portrait, where it ties into possibly for zombies, we're not sure, but it does have some Nazi history behind it. During World War II, Hitler was collecting a bunch of historical pieces, art pieces for his own personal collection, and this Portrait of a Young Man happened to be one of those items he collected. Now, a bunch of these items that he collected, once the collapse of the Third Reich began to happen, they went missing, and this portrait is one of the items that has gone missing over time. Now, a few years ago, there's a possibility that it was found, but I don't ever think it was 100% confirmed. So, to my knowledge, the whereabouts of the original Portrait of a Young Man is still unknown. The last known person to have the Portrait of a Young Man was one of Hitler's closer appointed officers, and his name was Hans Frank. Now, for the other image inside of the folder, this is where things start to get really juicy and interesting. So the image that we have is that of Holy Roman Emperor Barbarossa, and the name Barbarossa has a couple meanings directly for World War II and the legend that follows Barbarossa himself. In regards to World War II specifically, the German Nazis actually launched an operation that was called Operation Barbarossa, and their plan was to overtake the Soviet Union. But the operation failed, and this operation was considered to be another major key turning point of the war. But where we're going to focus the most part for Barbarossa is who he was himself and the legend that revolves around him and how this is important to zombies. And this is where you're really going to want to pay attention. Frederick Barbarossa I was considered probably one of the greatest medieval rulers of his time. His reign as a king covered multiple different things. Like on the image itself, he is referred to as the Holy Roman Emperor, which he was from 1155 until he died in the late 1100s. But he was also known as the King of Italy, the King of Germany itself, and the King of Burgundy. He was basically known for being a superhuman as well. Like his skills just at organizing, as being a leader, his battle skills, getting things done. He was simply known as someone who could basically do it all. Towards the end of his life, he was even a part of the Third Crusade while still being king, actually going out to the front battle lines and whatnot. Unfortunately, he died from drowning in the river and everything, but this is where the legend of Barbarossa begins, and it's really, really important in terms of zombies. Essentially, once he passed away, he had such a great reputation, such a great legacy amongst his followers, that a lot of them did not want to believe that he was in fact dead. And them wanting to not believe that is what arose to the legend. And the legend says that Barbarossa actually isn't dead yet. Him and his knights are actually asleep in the Kiefhauser Mountain. The legend also goes on to say that Barbarossa and his knights will remain in the mountain cave, half asleep, his beard still growing great, and that they will stay there until he is deemed to be called upon again to return Germany to its former glory, and when the ravens stop flying towards the mountain. Now, this legend right here is what makes me believe that Barbarossa is actually going to be the villain that we're going against for Zombies mode. We know that the Nazis were trying to somehow build a new army to go against to try to save the war for them. So what better thing could they do is go find an undead hero from German history that could come and save them and win them World War II. But for now, that's all the information that I got for you guys. Whenever there is more information known, whenever other codes or ciphers are found and solved, I'll research into them, I'll look up the lore for them. But hopefully, let me guys know what you guys think. Do you think Barbarossa could be the villain? Do you like learning all this side information before we get Call of Duty World War II? Let me know. But I hope you guys have a great day. Again, drop a like on the video if you liked it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're new and you're enjoying it, subscribe to the channel. But I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.